Hi, it's Zubble1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version on Xbox. And today I've got a fun bit of PvP, which is Woody trying to interrupt me when I was pirating, and me having to fight him off in my pirate crate Phantom versus his plasma crate, which is not a fair fight for the plasma crate because this thing's a horrible bi-weave multi-cannon build that's just like, yeah, because I can camp 4 pips mostly all the time, just like 4-1-1 and still shoot the multi-cannons. It kind of feels unfair, this thing. It's when it comes to gimbaled multi-cannonness, this thing's really good. But, you know, TOC occasionally come across and, you know, try and call you out when you're pirating and have a bit of a fight. And this is my one pirate ship that can generally fight back. Pretty much the only one. And, yeah. You know, pretty even on the RAM though, it's gonna be said. Yeah, Woody's ship's pretty tough as well. So, anyway, what I want to talk about today is quite a serious subject. It's quite a boring subject and a dry subject, but there's a reason for it. So basically, the UK's government passed an online safety bill through the House of Commons, and it goes on to the House of Lords recently. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what do I care about an online safety bill? What the hell has that got to do with me? Why would I give a fuck? Well, it means this. Yes, any MMO, any game that allows user-to-user interaction is going to be regulated by OFCOM when this passes. And that's the current state of it. What I'm going to talk about today is the fact that the House of Lords actually rejected it, and they didn't reject it because they thought it was an overstep, an overreach and disgusting, and the government looking to censor us, our online behaviour and monitor what we do. No, they actually rejected it because it wasn't far-reaching enough, and they actually wanted to more fully censor people. Well, that's my assessment anyway. I will link to an article on the BBC News website down below. It was an article that I read while I was at work, and it's yeah, it's one that's, it's a thing that I tend to keep an eye on, like stuff like internet and stuff that can affect YouTube and the internet and stuff like that, just for my own purposes and reasons. But this one I can see why there's an alarmist and knee-jerky kind of reaction. There's been a lot of press made about protection of children online, and I actually agree with a lot of the stuff. Like, you know, it is very easy for children to see very harmful content. You know, if I'd have been a teenage boy in this age, yeah, that would have been, yeah, totally different. Back in my day when we had you know, we had to find porn magazines in Woodland. God knows why, but you found porn. That's how you found porn. You found it out in the fields near where I lived. You just go out in the fields and somehow you'd come across porn. Very weird. But nowadays there's a lot of people. And the other thing they're worried about is people like Andrew Tate. Now, this Baroness that recently rejected and pushed back on the online bill was because it didn't do anything to protect children from harmful but legal content. Now I'm going to say that again, harmful but legal content. Now, being a misogynistic twat is not illegal in this country, and it's not illegal to say misogynistic things online. And if they're willing to censor stuff that you can legally say now, who's the arbiter of what is harmful or not harmful? I understand, like, blocking illegal content. I understand blocking adult content from children. I get that, but blocking legal content is a little bit odd. You know, I mean, protect users from harmful content and illegal content, but who's to say what's harmful? Who's to say who is going to be responsible for judging what is and isn't harmful content? And also, on the scale of like the stuff uploaded to the internet, just the logistics of it is insane. I mean, the whole bill is basically putting OFCOM in as a regulator for the internet, which is just insane. These are the people that can't even control the TV, and now they're being expected to control internet stuff. It's insane, and you can tell the people looking at this are people that are really out of touch. I mean, I'm out of touch. I'm from Gen X. You know, the last generation of feral children, the people that, you know, didn't really have access to the internet when we were young. We're older than Google. We're older than YouTube. We, you know, we're not exactly the people that are massively in touch. I mean, I'm glad that I'm from the last generation of feral children, because had I grown up in the modern era, my god, my porn habits would have been frightening as a teenage boy. Yeah, it was bad enough when I was like late teens and we had dial-up, but yeah, just insane now. Just with smartphones and access like kids have got, absolutely insane. Do I think there should be more things that protect children from seeing certain content? Yes. But do I think mass censorship is the way, and mass censorship of stuff that people consider harmful, and there's not really much transparency or openness of who's deciding as to what's harmful? I mean, currently in the UK we've got a real problem with like hate speech online, and our hate speech laws in general being incredibly vague and a bit weird and almost unenforceable. There were over 3,000 incidents where the police went out to speak to people about non-crime hate incidents. I don't even know what that means, and that's worrying. And the idea of putting OFCOM in charge of the internet and deciding what is and isn't acceptable, and in terms of like communication between players in online games, wow. But this is what's caused it, is the furore about Andrew Tate being pushed on 13-year-old boys, and 13-year-old boys becoming more misogynistic as a result of it. Now, the only thing is, if you censor and ban misogynistic content, you're just making that content more alluring to them, and they will find it. The only way to combat negative or bad speech is to combat it with more good speech. You know, you don't fight racism by silencing the voices. You don't fight misogyny by silencing the voices. You fight them by arguing the opposite direction. You fight them with good, intelligent, rational debate. That's the only way you defeat these things. That's the only way you defeat anything in history. We've always found if you censor, if you push things underground, you just make them more alluring. You know, look at the Romans and their drive to censor Christianity. It didn't really work, did it? And you know, there's other examples throughout history. If you push an idea underground, it doesn't go away, it doesn't die out. It becomes more alluring, and it is more behind closed doors. And that's worse. I like freedom of speech because I like to see who the nutters are. So, you know. And yeah, it's frightening that the government are trying to censor us because they're having a knee-jerk reaction to an online misogynist. But that's the situation we're in. I can't wait till OFCOM fine or pirate Orc for his messages to send to people. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. GG, Woody.